Hi guys, this is Jono Barnes. That's Jono, Ralph, not Jono. And you are watching Saints Happy Hour, the #1 Saints fan club and community in the world. Featuring everybody's favorites, Ralph, Andrew, Dave, and Kevin. You guys are gonna love this show. Who that?
And cut. Good take, Jono. Well done.
You ever watch that show?
Not at all. Have you?
Nah, all I heard was that this Ralph guy always mispronounce his names or whatever. This has got time. Let me actually...
Here's my question.
Wow. I really need to do my research before I sign off on these contracts. No wonder Champagne blocked them. Hell, no wonder Champagne left. After watching that, being a Falcons fan won't be too bad.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. As always, we are brought to you by Hard Hide, Ponchatoula, Strawberry Whiskey. All right, we got him. I try to get the best guests. I wrangle him, and I finally got him. The man who you just heard is open, Jono Barnes. I don't even know how to, introduce you. You're just I feel like you and Devin hold the Mayo, you are the comedy kings of New Orleans. No one is doing no one does what you do, Jono. You make Saints comedy in a way. I mean, we have fun on this podcast, but we're not out here making videos and thinking of bits and writing scripts and doing it. Comedy just happens by accident because I'm an idiot and we have Kevin and all that. But your comedy, you work really hard at it, and I'm just glad to have you on. I feel like you're like one of the Mount Rushmore people for Saints Twitter. I feel like
That is a hell of a compliment. I was about to give you some shit because you said, "Oh, you try for the best guest." I say, "Well, keep trying. If I'm one of your best guests, you got to keep trying, Ralph." Jeez, but I appreciate the professionalism more so than even a compliment of being on the Mount Rushmore of Saints content creators. The fact you got my name right, Ralph. Good job.
It took me. Before I started the video, I wrote it down. Syllable practice is hard.
It's a little cold, huh? It's like a cold day in hell. You got a name right. Jeez.
In my old age, I'm working hard, but you do a lot of video, and you help. The thing is, the intro, you helped me. So you gave me you laid it out for me. I'm terrible with names, and I will not lie. I'm I've had the same job for a while, but in job interviews, you ever go to I remember when I was younger and I interviewed at this job, and they had this woman, and they called her 3 different names. And I'm just sweating, and I don't know what to call her, and it's panic time. And then it's not the bit now where people think it's funny when I mess up their name. When you're shooting for a job, you got to get that name right, baby. And I was like, oh, but okay. So
it's been 3 years I've been doing this, Ralph. People still call me Jono, so Phil, no worries. Don't worry about it.
It's I think you know what it is, Jono. When we see John, it's instinctive. We have to have the H in there somewhere. And if you don't have the H, it throws us off.
I get it. But the reason why my parents did not give me the H is because they wanted me to be special, right? So they say, we're not going to give him an H for Jonathan. We're going to give him a regular Jon.
Uniqueness.
And then they say you're going to be even more special because there's 1,000 to a million to a billion Jonathans out there, but there's only so many few Jonos, and you're looking at now the one and only.
Okay. So how do you we got into the podcast game just I don't know, 2007, I think, 2008, we just by accident, right? And we got lucky, and we built an audience, but you came along, and I just sort of stumbled into your videos and Twitter. I'm like, oh my God, this is so funny. How did you decide, I'm going to do this? I'm going to do comedy. And not only that, I'm going to do sports comedy, which the Saints gives you it gives you maybe a lot of material, but it also gives you a lot of pain. So how were you I'm doing this. I'm getting on the internet. I'm making these videos, and maybe people will watch them. Maybe they won't.
Well, it's funny because I knew you, Ralph. I mean, I'm a diehard Saints fan, obviously. I knew you even before the podcast days. It's kind of cool to be being interviewed by you right now. Not to make you feel old, but when I am old, in my teen days, I'm following you, just as a general reporter. And all your work with Kenny Wilkinson and Buddy D. I mean, I know your history.
That's right, Kenny Wilkinson, baby.
So let me tell you, man, rest in peace. Right. So It's been it's an honor, honestly, truly. All jokes aside, like this is cool, like to be in this space now where I'm a colleague of yours, if you want to use that word, just a actual, like we're contemporaries together. It was in the midst of the pandemic, and I always felt like I had something to offer when it came to the content creation space. But laziness always got the best of me, and I just never took that leap forward to like actually put myself out there. And then finally, it was in the midst of the pandemic. Everybody's kind of stuck at home. Now, this was kind of during the period of the pandemic where the world was open a little bit, but it was still kind of stay in your house mostly, and try to limit how much you're out and about. So I say, man, Jono, if I'm not going to do this content stuff now, like I'm never going to do it, and I don't want to go to sleep every night tossing and turning, wondering if I could have been a success putting out content. So I took the leap of faith, Ralph, and it wasn't like I'll say even that I was going to focus on strictly the Saints and sports locally here in the New Orleans region and Louisiana altogether. I kind of had like throwing everything at the wall. I was doing vlogs. I was doing my first YouTube video was a how-to video on how to make your dog hey, like I was throwing everything against the wall. I'm like, I'm just setting myself as Jono at this point. But obviously, my passion for the Saints and for the Pelicans and whatnot is going to show because, like, that's not nothing for the cameras.
I want to say that's when I found you in the pandemic. Like you were doing Sean Payton bits, the Sean Payton bit at the door.
I want to say, Ralph, no, I think the first one though was, and it's kind of crazy. Like one of my first videos that I put out for the Saints blew up on Twitter, which is like amazing. Like that's like your first bat as a rookie and you hit a home run. I did a draft video where I kind of made fun of all the crazy reactions fans have during the draft. Like you hate a pick that you never heard of the player before. And so I cheated a little bit. I remember this vividly. Like because this was when I only had about 600 followers, so I wasn't a known figure in the social media world and the Saints fan base at all. So I was like, I gotta. And I don't like doing this, like, and I don't even know if I recommend it, but I'm going to have to add all of the major Saints people on social media, hoping that they share it so that now at least people start discovering who I am. The first one that I add when I add like 10 names in the replies to this draft skit was Saints-Falcons. I said, maybe Ralph is going to share my stuff. The next morning, Ralph, you shared my stuff. Like 2 or 3 of the other accounts did. And then like my numbers just overnight. Well, and I was like, whoa, God.
Here's the thing. Like a ton of people always DM me stuff. And I'm like, here's the thing. Like you, and this might make you feel bad, but maybe it'll make you feel good. But like, I'm like everybody else. Like I give you like 15 seconds. And like, if you don't get me in 15 seconds, I'm like, nah. And you got me. I was like, dude, that's funny. And so like, I'll share it. The thing that I love about you is that I feel like a lot of people when they cover the Saints and they want to be, they want to be the next like serious journalist, right? And I don't aspire to be a journalist. We're just having fun in this podcast. And the thing I love about you is you embrace that we're lunatics.
Yep.
You know the Saints. We are Pelican fans. Saints, we are lunatics. We are fucking lunatics. The Saints, we're out. We're out. They're down 17-7. We're completely out. 2 touchdowns later, Shaheed scores 21-17. We're all the way back in. And you don't even pretend to be a normal person. You're just like, I am a lunatic. So are you. That's why this video is funny, because in your heart, you're just like, and I like that. I like the fact you and Devin, like, and don't pretend like that you're above being like, oh, I'm a Saints fan. I don't. No, man. We know that we're lunatics, and I think that's why your stuff connects to people.
I think there's a space for that too. Like you have your serious journalists who provide tremendous value to the teams that you want to follow, but then there's a section where you just want to follow a fan and like have live and die with the voice of that fan, and knowing, like you use the word lunatic. It's the word I use is fanatic. Like fanatics is. Being a fanatic is you're going to be hypocritical. Like 1 minute you're going to be like, this team is whack, blow it up, time to fire everybody. The next minute you're doing cartwheels in your house because the Saints made an amazing.
I mean, listen, the Pels were down what? They were down,
and they
19.
Just won. And so
they just won. They were down 19, and I literally had almost tweeted out, but I didn't. It's in my draft. I almost tweeted out, we need to talk about Willie Green. Like, and now 3-1. I'm buying finals tickets.
And you know what? We might lose to Detroit tomorrow. And you can be like, you know what? We need to talk about, but that's fanaticism, man. And that's the beauty of it. And I always say, like, maybe the players or the front office sees our stuff, and sometimes they might roll their eyes at like how hypocritical or stupid we sound. But that same fanaticism is the reason why they have jobs, right? That's the reason why this is a $1 billion conglomerate between the Saints and the Pelicans and all the sports franchises in general. I just like to have fun with it. Like my skits, sometimes they may not even be funny to people, but they are relatable. Like people see themselves in me. If somebody gave me a good compliment and say, Jonathan, you've become the avatar of Saints fans. And I take that like with pride. Like I'm like, yeah, I hope you guys see yourselves in me and in the content I put out and in all the tweets I put sometimes. And I throw a fine line, Ralph, sometimes on Twitter or X between like being a serious analysis sometimes and like actually giving solid debate or like points that I'm talking about, because I actually do. People might be shocked that I actually am like kind of smart to the game.
No.
But I also play a character sometimes where like I'm purposely just being silly, fanatical, or hypocritical and whatnot. But that's the fun. Like, this shit more than a game, but it's entertainment. It's fun. Like, have fun with it, folks. It's not like we're not talking politics. We're having fun with it. It's cool to disagree. It's cool to feel how you feel. And I'm sure me and you are going to dive into that conversation a little bit deeper soon. But like, be fun, have fun, y'all. And I love that you preach that.
I love this shit more than a game. I love it. Like I think like when you become even bigger, you'll give a TED talk about how to do it, because I think like it says that like you really care, and maybe we shouldn't. Like maybe it shouldn't be more than a game, but it is. Like we can, like last year when the Saints blew that lead to Tampa, I literally I was on the floor. I'm on my hardwood floor, and my wife was like, "Are you a child? Come on!" And I'm like, "No, you just let me be. I need a day. I might need a day. I might just sleep out here." And I was like, This shit more than a game. It made
what is it about our wives and not understanding that, Ralph? I'm sure you've seen the stuff with my wife. Like what do they not understand? This shit more than a game, man.
She understands it she understands it when it comes to the Astros. She's a lunatic about it. But
shout out to the Rangers, huh?
Well, she's just like she's like rooting hard against the Rangers. But like the thing is with her, she like, because I'm super positive about the Astros, and she's like, why aren't you as positive about the Saints as you are about the Astros? I'm like, well, when the Saints go to 7 straight NFC championships, maybe I'll be positive about the Saints.
I tweet that often. I say, like, give me a run like the Patriots had, because I remember when we beat the Patriots a few weeks ago, and like their fans were like a hot mess, and they were booing the team and whatnot. And I was like, man, if I run through a 20-year era where my team wins 6 Super Bowls, I believe. I don't know, because I've never been in that spot. I would love for the football guys to test me and let me see. Let me
try it out.
But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be cool. Like 4 years into the post era of like being back with the regular teams, it's gonna be like, all right, I just lived through 6 Super Bowls. I'm on smooth sailing the rest of my fandom, but we'll see if we ever get to live that type of thing. I will say this though, Ralph, like this shit more than a game though. I promise people, like, I didn't like sit down with my wife and we brainstormed like what slogan, like it was organic. It was actually a Pelican skit that I did, and I say this is more than a damn game. And people, this was during our playoff run against the Suns 2 years ago. And people were like, "Yeah, you're right, it is more than a game." And I was like, "Hey, that's actually something like that's catchy, but also like it's true. Like this is how we feel down here in New Orleans about our teams." And then the next skit that I did, I was doing like a skit after every Pelicans playoff game. I say this shit more than a game, and then it just took a life of its own. So I love it because it's organic. It's not like something that I just made up to sell shirts or something. Like it happened organically because I say it's for the fans, by the fans. I might be the avatar of it, but this is a legitimate lifestyle here in the New Orleans and Louisiana area.
When the Pels got Zion, I literally I was so excited in my house. I left Andrew a voicemail that we got Zion, and people thought that was like planned. And like, I'm like, no, man. I was just like, I don't even watch college basketball. I knew who Zion was. I watched him at Duke. He was amazing. And like the Pels getting him, I was just euphoric over it. And I just lost my mind for like 30. The funny thing was Andrew forgot about the draft. And Because the Pelicans had like a 0.7% chance of getting Zion, right? So like we're like, whatever. He forgot about it. He's at his kid's basketball game and he's like, I listened to this voicemail. You're a lunatic. But that's where the best stuff comes. So I'm gonna be
right quick. I'm mad though that I was not a content creator during that time because I watched it live, obviously the draft live, and I screamed the. I'm sure the name. And I don't know if people know I was actually a ball boy for the Pelicans for 13 years, so I was still a Pelicans employee technically, like when that lottery happened. So my last year as a ball boy was during the Zion era when he missed the beginning of the season, but he closed it out before the pandemic hit. So I have a special spot in my heart.
That's probably like, I know it's not an actual game, but that moment is probably the happiest moment the Pelicans have ever given me.
Yeah.
Like even more than sweeping Portland. I was like, it was great. But that's what sports is.
The feeling of hope, right? Like you got hope again.
It's like,
all you want as a fan is the hope.
It's like if hope was, it's like the crack version of hope. You just like you high off of it. But no, I'm gonna be honest. Me and you, we love each other, so we argue over Twitter. And I'm gonna tell you, all the people that argue with me over Dennis Allen, you were the one. Like you convinced me, and I give in. Like I admit, Dennis Allen is not a good coach, and I admit that his best case scenario is he's gonna be Mike Zimmer. Like that's the absolute best case, and that ain't great. Like Mike Zimmer, like nobody's like building a statue for Mike Zimmer. And you sort of convinced me. But my thing is with Dennis Allen, like I got to root for him. I know he's probably not going to succeed, but I'll just root for him. And then I'll root for the next guy. I don't control it. And the thing is, I cannot root for Dennis Allen to lose right now, Jono, because the Saints are 4-4. And even this is how I know my pettiness in New Orleans will never go away from me. You could lay out a perfectly plausible scenario that like the Saints losing would be better for the long term. And you could lay out a future for them that would be better. But I'd be like, I don't care. I can't have Atlanta win the 2023 NFC South. I can't have it. I cannot have it. And if it means Dennis Allen wins and I have to suffer more mediocrity on the back end, I don't care. Like I have to, I can't have the Falcons winning the South this year. I can't. And I know it might not be long-term. And I know Dennis Allen might not be good, but I can't have Arthur Smith and his stupid mustache and his stupid offense. I can't have them winning. I can't.
This shit more than the game is strong in you. Let me tell you, I don't think Dennis Allen is a bad coach. I always argue he's not a good head coach. I feel like a head coach, there's levels to it, right? Like, and you make this point all the time, and I absolutely agree. As a defensive guy, amazing. Amazing. I would actually like be, if he ever eventually does flame out, which I feel like like you say, if his peak is Mike Zimmer, that's actually a compliment to Dennis Allen.
It's real good.
That means eventually he's going to flame out and we're going to have to start anew. I would be sad that, our defense is probably going to take a step back because this guy is an incredible defensive mind. I feel like we kind of lose sight of that these past 2 years because we focus on his negatives as a head coach that we don't really realize, just like how amazing the defensive game plan is week to week. And even when they struggle, like he usually gets it together and like we're stifling the Texans offense after getting ran on them in the first half. Like we're stifling them in the second half. The Colts offense, we're stifling them when he makes his adjustment. He's an amazing defensive mind. I will never take that away from him. Should he ever get fired, he's probably going to be the highest.
He's getting fired. He's getting I don't know how old you are. I'm 47. I'm going to live to 90. The Saints are never going to have another coach like Sean Payton in my lifetime.
I've argued that before.
He's going to.
I hope we're wrong, right? Like I hope we're wrong.
Like it'll be cool. Like they can have Dennis can retire and get like 90. I don't know, but that ain't going to happen.
Here's what I argue. Here's what me and Ralph argue a lot about, and I use the word argue like loosely because like me and Ralph are friends, folks. So like, when you're your friend, like it's a hard discussion. It's fun. Like we're not. Yeah. That's the problem with Twitter sometimes. Like people that you don't know, like come at you when you have an opinion that's different from theirs of football, and they come at you like, and I know you get it all the time, but like scathing. And I'm like, dude, if me and you had this conversation,
we're
like
just talking. We're just
yeah,
talking.
if I had the same conversation with you, stranger, at a barbershop or at like a restaurant, it would be a civil conversation. But something about social media just makes people just go from 1 to 100. It's like,
that's right.
All right, y'all, slow down. I've learned that in the past 3 years as a public figure, Ralph.
Right.
But when me and you, like, when we debate, like, it's a hearty discussion, and I'm never like mad or angry at you or anything. I'm just like, hey, this is something that me and Ralph are just going to have to keep arguing down until one of us is at a proven right.
You win. You win. I'm accepting it.
Because here's the thing. I mean, I'm cheering for Dennis Allen too. Like, and I said that with each loss, I feel a bit of contentment. And I'm like, okay, well, at least that means we're one step closer to finally just being done with this era. But I'm the same way as you, Ralph. We beat the Colts, and I'm like, damn, maybe we
back in,
baby. Time. Maybe we turned the corner for real this time. And now we got the Bears without Fields, and we got the Vikings without Cousins and possibly Jefferson. Maybe he's finally going to get it together. I'm cheering for him, but I think where me and you really disagree is that you often say, and I respect it 100%, your stance on this, is that you say, why are you fans not like enjoying these wins or having fun? Or why are you guys like so downtrodden about like winning games? You should be enjoying it. My argument is always, there's enough data on this regime that I'm not mad if a fan last Sunday was like mad that we beat the Colts because they're just ready to be over with it. I think that there's multiple ways to be a fan, and I'm not a fan of people who, and I'm not saying you do this, but like people who like gatekeep how fans should be. Like, if you want to be the optimist fan, be the optimist fan. If you want to be the pessimist fan, be a pessimist. At the end of the day, all of our money is the same color to get our business in all situations. So feel how you want to feel, but I don't mind how any fan feels about Dennis Allen.
I try to be an optimist because I forgot who said it, but I love.
I don't know. You try, Ralph. You are. I am. I consider you an eternal optimist.
I try to be, but this is a favorite quote of mine. It's some Russian philosopher. He says, the optimist only suffers once because the pessimist thinks about the bad thing happen, thinks about the bad thing's going to happen, waits for it to actually happen. It actually happens. Then you suffer twice because you suffer when you thought about it. And then when it actually happened. The optimist, you only suffer once.
I never thought of that. I like that. So
my thing is, my wife hates it because I will literally like vomit up optimism at the Saints. And I'll be like, make a play, make a play, make a play. And like, sometimes it works. And then you have like 2011, like the Saints, like the 49ers are just driving down. I'm just like, make one play, do something, somebody. And it never happened.
We've man, if I was making content during that 2017 to 2020 stretch of these heartbreaking playoff losses, I'd probably have a million followers by now, just from people who want to see my reaction to those plays, man, because I'm not trying to trauma upon Saints fans. We ain't got to talk about those.
I'm just telling you. I'm telling you. No, Jono, I think we are. I don't know what you would say, like driving fast or careening. I think the way 2023 sets up is the 8-8 Saints and the 8-8 Falcons.
Yeah.
Steel cage death match for the NFC South. Awesome. And I'll tell you what, you may laugh at me, but if that was the case, I think it would be like a top 5 most important Saints game ever. Super Bowl, 2018 NFC Championship, 2019 NFC Championship, the playoff game with Atlanta and the Saints in 1991, and that game. Because, dude, if you lose the game, the Falcons would celebrate a division title at the Dome. Like,
in the short term, yeah. I think in the short term, like in that moment, you're gonna feel like that. I think you gotta kind of let emotion subside.
Worst week of my life.
5 years, we'll look back and say, okay, was it really a time? Like it was I'm assuming the Falcons will beat us. It was just a shitty moment, but it led to what was the fallout after that game. I will tell you this, Ralph. Like, say that scenario does come up because you mentioned that on Twitter many times that you feel like it's coming down to week 18 with us and the Falcons. I guarantee you, even the most pessimistic fan, once that game starts, is going to be saying, we got to beat these goddamn Atlanta Falcons. Like, even the one who wants Dennis Allen gone. If you got black and gold in your blood, you will be cheering for the Saints that game.
All these people all these people, I don't care. If they lose, we get rid of Day. It'll be fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't get that game in the fourth quarter and the Saints are up 4, you'll be like, God, I will do whatever it takes. I will give up drinking. I will give up.
Yeah, praying to God. Yeah, that sounds like me. Because I'll be like, God, we got to beat the Falcons. We can't lose to Taylor Heineke and Arthur Smith. Come on,
Dude, they lose. Dude, if they lose a division championship to the Heineken man, I will drive to Austin and I will do whatever content you want to do to get.
I know I'm gonna be in New Orleans for that one. Let me tell you something. The content for that, no matter what, win or lose, is going to be epic, right? Like if you beat the Falcons and you win the NFC South because you beat the Falcons in Week 18, the content's going to be amazing. If we lose that game, oh God, I'm going to be binge watching every Saints content creator because I know that the rants, mine is going to probably be one of my greatest rants. Like Dennis Allen, you lost to the Falcons at home. Oh, it's going to be.
I have to have my wife take away my phone. Because I might lose job.
If it comes down to that, and we lose to the Falcons, do you feel like the fans are going to basically? I mean, we're fans, right? So we don't have that much power. But do you think like losing to the Falcons is going to force Gail to like, I gotta fire him because the fans are going to be like, that's a nuclear level heat that Dennis Allen would have losing a playoff, winning your end game at home to the Falcons.
I mean, I don't know that they would fire Dennis Allen, but the whole offensive staff would have to go.
Yeah, somebody's
like you gotta make a sacrifice. Gail will have to make a sacrifice on the altar for us. Like
the front office is good at appeasing us fans.
Maybe
like,
do you watch Game?
Would
you watch Game of Thrones?
I have. Don't hate me. No, I never watched.
No, they have the thing where they made her do. They made the woman do the walk of shame.
Yeah, I know that. I know that scene. I know enough about it. Yeah,
we make Pete Carmichael do the walk of shame through the quarter, and we just
all the way to Denver, right?
All the way to Denver.
Seems like it's inevitable.
I mean, and that's the thing. How much? That's a great segue. How much do you enjoy hate watching the Broncos? Because I really do. I was disappointed they beat Kansas City. I've enjoyed hate watching the Broncos very much.
I think you are the number one hate watcher of the Broncos. Actually, I'm not, Ralph. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm cheering for them to lose because I want the pick to be as high as possible, and I'm glad we didn't trade it this past week.
Thank God for that.
But I am, and I've been called a Sean Payton apologist. I've carried his water on. I'm rooting for after the season. Now that we'll be clear of any picks, I'm going to be rooting for Sean Payton. I want him to succeed. I like him. He blocked me on Twitter, which is fine.
He did block you on Twitter. What did you do? Did you make a Vicodin joke?
I think it was a skit that I did where I showed up to his house.
That was the one. Yeah.
He's not the first person to block me because they don't like
that was a great skit though. That was amazing.
Sean Payton usually he had a sense of humor around this time. I thought he would enjoy it, but I guess I don't know. But I still, to this day though, I carry his water on Twitter and I'm still defending him. And I'm like, like you said, he's probably going to be I hope not, but he's probably going to be the greatest coach we've ever had. So I was just shocked that fans were so in a rush to see him going. I mean, you know how fans are. Like once he left us, fans.
Well, once he left,
you turned your back on us, and that's when fanaticism comes in. Like I'm sure 10, 15 years from now, Sean Payton's going to be the man again. He deserves a statue, in my opinion. I mean, first coach to bring us a Super Bowl. He's a Saints Mount Rushmore. That's a real Saints Mount Rushmore guy. But I know right now in the interim, it's fun and it's exciting to hate on him, especially when the draft pick is attributed to his name that we can utilize. But I'm not hate watching them, but I am enjoying their downfall. Even though sadly, Ralph, it looks like they're kind of getting better week by week.
They are getting better. Like the thing is like the Kansas City game was a reminder to me that he's such a good coach. Yeah. He's not he's incapable. It would have probably been better for him to liquidate the team at the trade deadline and get a good quarterback. But Sean Payton, he's incapable of just being I'm going 5-12. He's incapable.
Him and Mickey.
He's gonna drag the Broncos to 8-9.
Him and Mickey, they have that mindset. They are not going to be ever known as tankers, I guess.
Do you think the funny thing was that the Raiders fired Josh McDaniel and the general manager on hot. I woke up, I was like, they fired both of them.
Yeah, you were having fun with that, especially because the Raider fans are.
Dude, Raider fans, I'm not mentioning, man, get out of here. I'll take it from you or somebody like getting on me about Dennis Allen or Derek Carr, I'll even take not Raider fans, not after you get trucked by the Bears. Like, no, don't even with that. Like, I'm just like, so they fire both of them. But the funniest thing is Josina Anderson tweeted out, she's like, yeah, they had a bunch of teams. She's like, one team texted me, they were trying to get a Raiders playmaker and they got ghosted by the Raiders in the middle of the day. They wouldn't return text or phone calls about the trade. And you know that's Mickey Loomis. One of the playmakers of the Raiders trading besides Costco Lance Moore.
And my takeaway from that instantly was, okay, I went to not even fan mode, but just analysis mode. Like, do we need Hunter Renfrow? I mean, does he change the trajectory? Honestly, does he change the trajectory? If we would have gotten like a 6th-round pick, sure. Like, I would have been happy with it. But like, does he actually change?
Does he play offensive line?
I know, like D-line and O-line was the only 2 positions that I was like, if we're going to make a trade, we got to go for those. Like, those are the only 2 positions that can actually give us an extra win, possibly, and like that win might be the
only thing I can think of for that for Hunter Renfrow in a serious football way, Jono, is I think if the Saints could have got him for cheap because they wanted to like the Raiders to pay like his whole salary, basically. Mm-hmm. I think the thinking for Mickey Loomis was probably if we get Renfrow. He's like insurance because you can see Derek Carr is starting to build the chemistry with Michael Thomas of, any big moment, I'm throwing it to Mike. And Mike hadn't played in 3 years. He's been great this year. But I could see Mickey Loomis being like, you know what? Renfrow can be like an insurance policy if something happens to Mike and Derek needs a security blanket. Who cares about a 6th-round pick? That's good insurance. That's my only thinking there.
Right, I agree. But
it's like it's hilarious to me that Mickey Loomis is like,
what the hell? Like,
they start trick or treating early in Vegas. Like,
I know the feeling, Mickey. I've had many chicks that I thought I was going somewhere with, then they just stopped responding to you. Like, what the hell did I do? I thought we was on to something. Come on, huh? You make a good point. Now I'm kind of sad that we didn't get Renfrow because you're right. I mean, you just knowing our injury luck. I always expect the worst with the Saints. Like he would have been a damn good insurance to have. So it kind of sucks that. Hopefully, maybe they cut him. That'd be great for us.
You think like Mickey Loomis? He called like Derek Carr in his office, and he's like, "Hey, Derek, do you have Josh McDaniels? Do you have his cell? Do you have Dave Ziegler, the GM? Do you have they have a backup cell? Because I'm trying to get your boy Hunter, and they're just like." They're not returning my texts, and we got
Derek's
like 9 minutes to this trade deadline.
Derek's probably like, yeah, Josh blocked me, Mickey. I'm no help to you. We both got each other's numbers blocked after December.
And then, and the one thing I will say about the trade deadline, like seeing the Raiders fire their people, seeing the Giants not being able to get the paperwork in on time for a trade, it made me realize, like, as bad as the Saints are, and as bad as we're like stuck in this purgatory, like it could always be worse. It could always be worse.
Always. I tell myself that all the time when I'm feeling bad about the Saints, the Pelicans, LSU. I'm like, well, okay, who's the bad team right now? At least we're not them, and that way I force myself to sleep.
Okay, so you're an LSU guy too.
I'm a man. I'm Saints. There's levels, right? Saints is like obviously top of the line. Pelicans is right below, but I'm not. Especially because I worked for the Pelicans for 13 years, so it kind of makes you
that's your thing.
Less of a fanatic and sometimes more of an employee. So I'm kind of gradually getting back into that fanaticism side of being a Pelicans fan. But it's Saints, it's Pelicans, and the shoes a little bit below. But I'm, I watch the games and I'm emotionally invested. Tulane now too, but there's levels to it. But I cheer for any Louisiana team because
shit more than a game. It's still more than a game. I still hate Saban. And the best part of my hating Nick Saban, Jono, is my wife is a Dolphin fan.
Ooh.
And let me tell you something. You want to talk about the pure, uncut hatred? Ask her about Nick Saban.
I've seen you tweet about that. Is she from Miami?
No, she's from Houston, and the Oilers left, and she's like, they left, and I had to get a team. So
like she right down the corner. She didn't want to spin a block.
Yeah, but I mean, like in the 90s, man. She's like, no, man. She's like Dan Marino. I like
Marino. Good shout out to Marino.
She hates Nick. Hates. And like, so LSU, Alabama, like she hates Nick Saban so much. She roots for Texas A&M when they play Alabama, and she hates Texas A&M because Texas A&M, this, we'll say this, Texas A&M people, I love them, but they're kind of weird. Like Texas A&M people, they're kind of weird. Like they just are. They have their military. They have their what do they do? They're yelling that they do. What do they call it? The yell team or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
They're a little weird. But she so like
Shout out to A&M.
I feel like my LSU fandom, and this may be bad, like ever since 2019, like Brian Kelly, if he would just beat Nick Saban every year, like I'm perfectly fine with it.
I mean, he did last year.
He did it last year.
That's why we were all in love with him, even though we didn't have the greatest of seasons. So if he wins Saturday, shit, no matter what happens the rest of the year, you're right. We'll be like, well, we beat Bama though. So
all right. So let's talk about the rest of this year. Because me and you were like, hey, when are we going to do this? We're like, we'll do it at the mid-season point.
Yep.
What's been your like favorite Saints like storyline for the first 8 weeks? Because they're kind of 4-4, they're kind of mad, they're kind of up and down. But what's been like your favorite thing? Like it can be content or it can be anything. What's your like favorite thing?
I think from a positive standpoint, I'm really happy and excited for the growth of Carl Granderson. And
yeah,
he's besides Lattimore, I might say he's the second best player on our team this year as far as consistency. And he got paid. And he's still playing good. You know, like sometimes you get all right. Let me slow down a little bit. You know, I got the bag. Thank God we signed him when we did, right? Like every passing week, his money would have went up. So that actually might be like my favorite thing from a positive standpoint. I guess from a content creation standpoint, it's kind of always when you want to just stroke your ego or pride, be like, I told you so, as far as Dennis Allen. I mean, we're at the midseason point and we're 4-4. And like, that's just the embodiment of Dennis. We're in purgatory. I've said it before. Like, we're just a team floating in that middle ground. We're not too good. We're not too bad. We're just in that middle ground. We're boring. We're finally kind of putting a little spice to the team the past few weeks that's a little more entertaining, even to the non-Saints fan. But I've been preaching this for a while now, so that my I told you so moment. And I want to be wrong. I keep saying on my YouTube channel, like, I will apologize to Dennis Allen, and I'll make my apology as loud as my disrespect has been. But he has still, even though we're 4-4 and that we look like, I still feel like we're the favorites, Ralph, at the midseason point.
I do 100%.
Solid representation in the playoffs. But he still has not proven me wrong. He's just been beneficial to a schedule that we should be 6-2 right now at worst. Like Sean Payton, I still don't know why he retired. I mean, I'm sure there's alternative reasons besides just being burnt out. But like, dude, you got the easiest division the past 2 years. Sean Payton would have been boosting up his Hall of Fame resume had he stayed. Like, he would have been walking shed on these other NFC South coaches. But Dennis Allen is the guy we gave the keys to. And past 2 years, he's had this horrible division, and he's not been able to do much with it. We're 4-4. We should be 6-2, 7-1. That's like my I told you so moment in the content creation space.
Well, the thing that I think about Dennis Allen, and this is not my joke, this is my wife's joke. Last year, during the Tampa game, the second Tampa game, she said to me, Dennis Allen looks like a dad at Walgreens at midnight looking for the right medicine for his sick kid. And he doesn't know which one to pick. And I can't get it out of my mind. Like, it just, like, it's the perfect description of him. Like, when it's all going wrong, Jono, right? Like in the text, like game, like in the Green Bay game in the fourth quarter, when it's all going wrong and they show him, I'm like, he's at the Walgreens and he's like, I need the kid. Did she say to get the kid? Did she say to get the kids Tylenol? Or did she say to get the kids Motrin? Like, which one do I need? And that's what I think.
You know what he bought at Walgreens? He bought the Just for Men.
Dude.
So that might be, but it's turning the season around. He's dyed his hair. He went to Walgreens. Tell your wife he wasn't looking for medicine. He was looking for. That's the thing. Finally found it, and now we got the brand new Dennis Allen.
Is it? So when he what's it? We got to have his record pre and post dye job.
Well, it's 1-0 right now, right?
He's 1-0.
I think. I mean, I noticed it when they posted the locker room video too, and I was like, oh, his hair looks different, and that's like the first time I feel like I've noticed him with a jet black. So I feel like this was the first time in his past 2 years, at least, that he's dyed his hair. So far, he's 1-0, and he has the opportunity with the next two games to possibly be 3-0. That this might become a thing. Like, this might become a legitimate thing for fans. Like, he's like jet black Dennis Allen hair is the man. That's the coach that we need.
Like, and that's the thing. Like, if it start, like, here's the thing. Like, imagine if they go on a run and they win like 3 or 4, 5 in a row, and then it starts to fade. I mean, I'll count on you to bake the golden content and be like, hey, Dennis, I'm your
on
biggest
it.
critic guy. You gotta go in.
I'm on it.
You gotta get that cleaned up, my man.
I'm on it. That's what made that happen. I mean, you say 4 or 5 games. Let's slow down. Let's get to 3. I feel like the next 2 is attainable, and then we'll go full fanatic, Ralph. And then we'll go full fanatic if we win the next 2, and then we'll be like, hell yeah. Then we'll be like, we're delusional. We turned the corner.
Jono, I'll be insufferable. They beat the Bears. They beat Minnesota. They get a bye, and then they play Atlanta. It'll be a great November.
Ralph, I'm going to the Minnesota game, so I'm walking into enemy territory.
Wow!
I am praying that we win. We got it. I feel like this is of the 3 games to pass this week, last week, and the next 2 weeks. I feel like the Bears one was the easiest one. I'm like, we got to win that one. Like, even if Fields was playing, I was like, that is a win on the schedule. Minnesota, Indianapolis, I was like, can go either way. So I felt like we should win. I mean, Dennis Allen has always not. I don't know.
Like, he's very Haslety in like you don't know what you're gonna get. Like, you really don't. Like, because I feel like you know what I feel like is I feel like Pete Carmichael, like against the Colts, he had a really good plan and he cooked that defense and they had like mismatches that he could like exploit. But I feel like Pete, like, he has a difficult time like in game. Sometimes they tweak it and it works, but like sometimes Pete, it's like he just can't get it moving and he has a hard time adjusting. So you don't know what you're gonna get with the Saints week to week. But like I said at the beginning, man, the funny thing with the NFC South is I don't know if Saints fans realize it. Atlanta fans, they kind of low-key hate Arthur. I think they hate Arthur Smith more than we hate Dennis Allen. I really do.
No shit. I know that they had like a lot of angst.
They do, because here's the thing. Like Dennis Allen, we hate him because he doesn't win. But he's boring as all hell. Like at his press conference, right? He just puts you to sleep. Like people on the podcast, like, Ralph, when you had Sean Payton, you used to have Thomas play all these Sean Payton sound bites, and you don't do that anymore. I'm like, yeah, because Dennis Allen is boring. Like he never says anything interesting at all. Why am I going to clip a 45-second soundbite of Dennis Allen, and you're either gonna click something else on YouTube if you're watching it not live, or you're just gonna fall asleep. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm here to make you stay so you can watch. But Arthur Smith, he's like a jerk. They'll be like, why did you throw the ball to Kyle Pitts? And he's like, I'm not about fantasy football. I'm about winning. Well, and Atlanta fans are like, yeah, when's that winning going to start, Arthur? So, like, I think they low-key hate, like, if Atlanta doesn't win the division, that'll be 3 straight years of sucking for Arthur Smith. Like, we're talking about running DA out after 2 years. Like, I don't know. Like, is Arthur Smith, like, if he drops another like 7-10 and he goes 7-10, 7-10, 7-10, is he going to get a 4th year? I hope he does, and stick with Desmond Ridder forever. He needs more time. He needs more time.
They have the pieces, obviously.
They do.
A lot of teams can say that we're a quarterback away, right? Like we said that last offseason, and then we got Carr, and we felt that we were ready to take the leap. I will say this though, like you mentioned how they've just not been good so far under Arthur Smith, and hate to say it, Terry Fontenot. And it does go to your point, and a lot of people's points, like how fans, even me sometimes argue, man, just blow it up, let's start over. But we know that, even, as you were pointing out, that doesn't guarantee success. And you always argue when fans are like coming at you saying, you're just backing your Mickey Loomis apologists and it's been time to blow it up. And you're like, okay, well, look at Chicago. They've tried to rebuild for the past, 6 years now. Look where they're at right now. Look at the Falcons. They actually did kind of do a softer rebuild than, a major rebuild, but look where they're at 3 years into look at the Panthers. This was like their second rebuild in the past, I believe, 4 years.
That's right.
They look worse. I mean, they look worse than last year. So it's
Frank Reich is a fraud.
Rebuilding.
He's a fraud.
I always give you this credit. Like, you're right. Rebuilding or tearing it down does not automatically guarantee. And you do this more to like the cap nerds and everything who just hate the Saints because we, God forbid, like we're a franchise that likes winning games. We don't maybe do it in the most conventional ways or the ways that they like it. But you're right. Rebuilding doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to, hit a home run when you go up to bat.
I just think, to me, if the Saints were in a different division, if the circumstances were different, I would be more open to a rebuild. Like if the Saints were in the AFC, if the Saints were in the AFC West, I'd be like, listen, you got Mahomes, you got Herbert. Whenever they get a good coach, who, by the way, that coach is terrible. Like I'm like, those are elite quarterbacks. Like you need to rebuild. You need an elite quarterback. Jono, I look at the NFC, and listen. You make fun of me because I'm the eternal optimist, but I look at it as like Philadelphia is really good, but like I see a scenario where like the Saints get into playoffs and like Derek Carr.
Don't say it. Go ahead.
Derek Carr gets on a heater and we're laughing and we're like, you were like, hey, San Francisco, you played great defense, but Rashid Shaheed hit 2 bombs on you. I'm just
my peak scenario is like, okay, we win in NFC South, maybe we'll get Dallas, right? Everybody's assuming Dallas is going to be the 5th seed because Philly's probably most likely to win the division. And if we beat Dallas, like you said, like it's all worth it, right? Like the past 2 years was worth it. We beat Dallas in the Superdome in the playoffs. That would be an amazing thing. I don't know. Maybe they can convince me the next 2 weeks.
What's the funniest scenario for you the last 9 weeks? What's the we know what the best is. What's the funniest
I think
scenario?
you mentioned it. Like we, up down, we continue this up down thing. So it's like we're just constantly going through like this roller coaster. Like 1 week go up, the next week we're back down and saying fire everybody, and next week we're back up and saying, oh, we got a shot. And then it comes down to week 18 with us and the Falcons, and winner take all. Like whoever wins that game goes to the playoffs. And I think that will be extremely fun because then it would just show like as crazy as the past 17 weeks have been, the whole damn city of New Orleans will be united in that one moment. But like, we got to whip the Falcons' ass. Who gives a shit if it means another year of dinner's ad and we're all going to come together. Kumbaya as a fan base.
I mean, they flex
that
that
would be
game.
hilarious.
They'll flex that game to Sunday night.
That game, of course, is I'm thinking best case scenario. And then we get Dallas and we actually beat them. Maybe we get our little Beastquake type version game. Oh man, I would be like, Ralph was right. Like, even though this has been mediocrity the past, like it's all worth it when you get moments like that as a fan.
I think the funniest scenario: 8-8 Saints, 8-8 Falcons. Falcons up 6, 2 seconds left, and we're like, I can't believe they lost this game. Dennis Allen, pack up your shit. Pete Carmichael, pack up your shit. Hail Mary, Saints win. And then everybody's like, okay, we won the South. They're going to get their head kicked in. They win a playoff game again. And we go from, we were literally going to storm airline.
Everybody.
We were going to fire everybody. And a Hail Mary completely changed our outlook 180 degrees.
The football guys do owe us too. The football guys owe us a moment.
It would
like
be
that.
the most Saints. It would be the most Saints fan thing ever, right? Like you literally have your video of DA pack up your shit. You have it loaded on Twitter. You made it in the fourth quarter because they were losing. You have it loaded up. You have it loaded up, and they hit a Hail Mary, and you have to ditch it.
You know what I think of? And this is probably because it was the most recent example of it, but the 2019 Titans, right? And I went to that game in Tennessee, and we beat them. Like, we beat them pretty good in that game. And I remember their fans were just over it leaving that stadium. And they had a win in your end game against the Texans the next week. They won that game. Next thing you know, we're eliminated by Kirk Cousins the week after. They're going to the AFC Championship game. And I'm like, good Lord, like it just shows you like how crazy like these things in sports can happen. And I always just kind of stick to that when I'm like, okay, if the 8-9 or 9-8 Saints do make the playoffs, maybe we go on this fun Titans run. Like next thing you know, you're blanking. You're like, holy shit, Derek Carr and the Saints and the NFC Championship?
That's right.
That would be amazing. I'm not counting on it, but that would be amazing.
We're due for some stupid. We've had so many playoff heartaches. We're due for something stupid good in the playoffs. Yeah. And I just feel like the funniest NFL scenario for the year, the funniest thing, Jono, is Derek Carr in the Super Bowl
in Vegas.
And they pan over to Mark Davis in the box, and he's watching Derek Carr, his old quarterback, playing in his stadium in the Super Bowl, and they're like, Mark, that must be difficult for Mark Davis watching his ex-quarterback. Hopefully the next coach he hires will be better, and the Raiders will be on the right track. And like he's got the bad haircut, he's got the jumpsuit like his dad. Like I just feel like that would be the most hilarious outcome to end the Saints season. I think if you told me I could have that, I might give up years off my life for that scenario.
This shit more than a game. Huh?
It is. I'm not gonna lie. Like just like
That-
like if I was gonna live to be like 75, like if you gave me that, you bump me down to like 72, 71. I'm cool. It would be worth it.
That would definitely be fun for Saints fans. I don't know about Roger Goodell and them, but it would definitely be fun. It's nice to think about fairy tales sometimes, Ralph. It's nice to think about fairy tales. And I tell you what, I guarantee you, had we lost that game to the Colts someday, this conversation me and you
never
doesn't even
never.
come up. We're not talking about the best case scenario.
I just have a bottle of Hard High with me, and I would just be like, it would just be you'd be my therapist. I'd be like, you were right.
Yeah,
and this Allen's is trash.
The amazing,
I never should have believed in.
Win.
I never should have believed in him. He was terrible.
The power of a singular
win,
multiple
one win,
and it just completely flips the fan base upside down. I love it. That's why my content is about. Like I post one of that in my skit on Sunday. I kind of like try to put a mirror to the Saints fans so they can see themselves like and get a laugh and relatability out of it like all week. Oh, I'm done with the Saints, man. Fire everybody. It's bullshit. Next thing you know, we go up 14, and it's like, hell yeah! Oh shit, we're back. We technically number one in the NFC South. Shit, it's right there for us. Let's go take it. We're the best team in the NFC South, and it's just like it's the beauty of fanaticism, man. It's literally why this shit more than a game, Ralph. It's literally is why that.
I love it. So tell the people how to find you on Twitter, how to get a this shit more than a game T-shirt. You got to sweep the world. Here's a question for you. If you don't have to answer it specifically if you don't want to, but I feel like it's killing it. I see people sharing it all over social media. Where's the like craziest place you had to like ship one of these?
Australia. So I've had Australia, I've had Mexico, Canada. Like I've had a lot of international, which is amazing, right? Like some humbling shit, man.
I'll tell you, it is. Like because we have our little things we share. It's incredible humbling when I'm like, I gotta ship this to New Zealand. Like there's a person like but it makes you it make you feel special that like a person like far off in the land is like that this shit more than a game. It connects to me in some reason, some way. I want it even though I'm halfway across the world.
I'm eternally grateful. Thank God every day for the success that I've had. I'm not going to act like I'm the biggest content creator out there, but for what I've built in 3 years, essentially, like I am eternally grateful. Now I did lie though. Like as great as those countries shipping it out to have been, I've also had like 2 artists in Georgia. That just makes me smile that people are wearing that shirt close to the Atlanta area. So I love that. It's been great. And I had to be talking to the merchandise aspect of it, Ralph, because I just have a very behind jokes and giggles. Like I'm very passionate about what I do, but I'm also very hard. And I have like a high threshold of what I feel like is success. So a lot of people, my wife, my family, all that was like, you need to eventually start doing merch. And I'm like, I'm just not big enough as a creator or figure to think that, any type of Jono Barnes shirt will work. Man. And then, this shit more than the game started taking off. And I finally got talking to it this offseason. It's been the success of it has been above and beyond what I thought it would be. And I'm grateful for everybody who either wears the shirt and buys it or who even just like gives it to me on Twitter. Sometimes like when you see people who don't even follow you though, like doesn't even follow me and they're saying in the Saints replies on one of their tweets or the Pelicans reply or LSU, yeah, this shit more than a game. And I'm like, damn, this is like really like a thing now. That's awesome. And again, it's for the fans, by the fans. So I'm glad they love it. At Jono Barnes on every platform that you can think of. And to make it extremely easy for fans, the website to buy the shirt, it's two links. It'll take you to the site, jonobarnes.com, or even better, thisshitmorethanagame.com.
There you go. It'll be Jono
Barnes. Folks, the greatest price of all time. You can get this shirt. Not only in this color scheme way, but you got purple and gold. You got red and navy blue. You got red. You got green and blue. We got a lot of color schemes. We got some future ones coming up, so be on the lookout for it. It's a great shirt. Thisshitmorethanagame.com, folks. $28.03.
That's right. And you can click on the link in the description of this podcast, wherever you're seeing it, or if you're listening to it. And listen, Jono, you're coming back week 17 when it's Saints-Falcons.
I got to do it with the whole crew.
Yeah, you got to
I
come
gotta
on
tell
back.
Andrew off. I got some shit I gotta tell him. I'm joking.
No, but I may need you because I say that it'll be fun and exciting, but part of me, like Saints-Falcons for the NFC South, like part of that would really scare me.
Oh, it's gonna be stressful as hell. It's gonna be stressful as hell.
Oh.
I remember in 2017, like we were real close to a Saints-Falcons.
Oh, dude.
And I was like, I want that, but I was telling
But
everybody, I was like, dude, I just can't. The thought, never mind the thought of the Falcons winning the NFC South. Like the thought of the Falcons winning the NFC Championship and the Superdome in 2017 would have been. Well, I would have lost a lot of sleep that week. I would have lost a lot.
Dude, I just. Whew,
I kind of wanted it in my lifetime. Bro. Like I want the Saints and Falcons NFC Championship game, but I'm like, do I really want it?
Do you really want it? Because
right,
here's the thing. It's probably like a one-shot deal. Like you get one shot at it. Like so if you lose, they hold it over you forever.
Right.
And so but you're coming back. I feel like either the Saints are going to get on a roll and it's going to be a great second half, or it's just going to be you making gold-plated content every week of Dennis Allen, pack up your shit and get out of here. Like I don't think it's going to be middle ground. I think it's going to be one or the other. Like extreme.
I'm expecting middle ground, but I'm ready to take whatever. Hopefully, wins or losses, fans. I try to make my content enjoyable. I try to make it that people can get a laugh out of it because Lord knows our teams we deserve some laughs no matter what. So hopefully, wins or losses, people will enjoy the content. And Ralph, I definitely would love to come back, especially if it comes down to week 18. Just pray for me that I survive in Minnesota because I'm going to be acting an ass in Minnesota, especially if we win Sunday. Or I'm going there, because Minnesota fans
are we ready?
Got a hard on for us for whatever reason.
Two wins in a row, we become unbearable. Like, you can forget about it. So.
Let's go. I need to pay my bond money because I'm sure one fan ain't gonna like it and it might cause some shit. But hey, it's shit more than the game.
That's right. Thank you, sir. That's Jono Barnes. Go to jonobarnes.com. Follow him on social media. You know where to find him. He's amazing. Guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting the show. And until next time, the bar is closed.